What's up YouTube? It's Rama here coming at you live with just a quick little video I'm making for the Bladedancer Hunter subclass in Destiny. And what I want to do in this video is kind of touch base on the skill tree and the perks that I use and kind of my style of playing and give you a real rundown as to why those perks are better than the other perks, at least in my opinion. So let's get to it. The first section we'll be talking about are the grenades, so if you're ready to blow that ass up, I'll tell you what's good. First grenade on there is Flux Grenade, which is the one that I actually use. Pretty much it's a sticky grenade, just like Halo. When you first start using it, you're kind of like, I'm not sure about this, I don't know what to do about it. But once you get some practice down, you get the trajectory down, you'll really start to love it because, I mean, it's solid, you know. I can't tell you how many times that I'm playing, I'm about to go down, whoosh, throw a quick Flux Grenade, sticks to them, blows them up, and I have the biggest smile on my face. The next grenade we have is the Skip Grenade, probably my second favorite in the grenade list here. And basically what it does is it explodes and sends these tiny little, I want to call them paper airplanes, that's not really what they are, but anyway, paper airplanes, and they swoosh over and kind of like chase after the target. So if somebody's like low health, maybe you got like 2 shots into them, you throw the Skip Grenade, it bounces, blows up, sends little drones after him to kill him. It's pretty effective, but I still like to stick people better. And then the last grenade on here is the Artful Grenade. Basically just shoots chain bolts of lightning at enemies. I've never liked it. I've tried it a few times, and maybe I'm missing something spicy to it, but I've never had good luck with it, so use the Flux Grenade. The next set of perks I want to talk about are the movement perks. First on the list we have Higher Jump. It basically upgrades your double jump to an even higher height. After that we got Better Control, which upgrades your double jump to a better directional control while in the air. And then after that we have Blink, which is a kind of like a short teleport that replaces the double jump. In my opinion, I think Better Control is the one to go with, although Blink is the coolest thing you've ever seen because teleporting's awesome. But with Better Control, it actually gives you a little bit more recovery as well as the option to kind of maneuver and get on the tiny little spots you want. So if you're a Bladedancer, you're probably sniping, or you're, probably trying to get in some tactical positions. And with the Better Control, like I said, you get the recovery, and it also allows you to kind of wedge your way into certain areas a little nicer than maybe like the Blink. Even better is when you're invisible. The Blink breaks the invisibility, whereas the Better Control doesn't. So I think Better Control is the one to go with on there. Next set of little upgrades we'll be talking about here are going to be the ones for the super ability, which is the Arc Blade. The first one is Showstopper, which does some nearby damage to opponents. It's alright. Next we have Razor's Edge, and what it does is unleash a destructive wave of energy that travels along the ground. Now, it's kind of cool. It's sort of like a funnel towards the front facing of your opponents, and it has a decent range to it, maybe like 15 to 20 feet if you're American, some amount in meters if you're not, and it's alright, probably the second best of the two. And then the last one is Vanish, and basically it just lets you disappear from sight. I personally always use Vanish, just because you never know when you're in a sticky situation, or sometimes when you Arc Blade, you really want to get in at an opportune moment so you can kill the most enemies as possible. Like, let's say you're playing Control, they're on the flag, and you want to run up in there and do some damage. Well, if they see you coming, I mean, chances are they're going to throw up a bubble, or you're going to get Fist of Havoc, something like that. So what I'll do sometimes is I'll activate my Arc Blade, then I'll Vanish, and then I'll run in stealthily and then start doing some damage. So I would definitely say that Vanish is the way to go when it comes to the super ability upgrades. The next section we're going to be talking about is the melee section. First on the list we have Backstab, because hitting an enemy from behind with Blink Strike causes significantly more damage. Backstab is the one I use the majority of the time. Reason being, it's a one-shot kill from behind. I'm invisible most of the time anyway, so if people are, trying to cap a flag or something like that, chances are I'm around the corner invisible, just waiting until they're turned. So Backstab is the one I go with. Escape Artist is our second one. It's also very, very good, and basically whenever you do your Blink Strike ability, it lets you go invisible for a second. After that, it's Fast Twitch. It just reduces the cooldown of your Blink Strike. Out of all those, I think they're all pretty good, but definitely Backstab is the one that I use. The next section here are modifiers. are the class modifiers. First off, we have Path of Forgotten, which is training focused on toughness and speed. Path of Forbidden, which is training focused on battle recovery and speed. And Path of the Unknown, which is training focused on battle recovery and toughness. I usually go with Path of the Forgotten. The focus on the toughness and speed is really nice in PvP. I think armor is pretty important as far as really taking the hits. Recovery is okay, but you know, as a hunter you're pretty agile, and with all these speed increases it's really easy to get away or go invisible and then, you know, recover at your own rate. It doesn't really matter. It's not like you're in combat recovering all the time. Hunters are pretty weak anyway when it comes to armor, so you're gonna get shot dead if you don't have a little bit of armor on there. Up next we got the ability modifiers, which is going to be fleet-footed, which increases your sprint speed and gives you a little bit extra slide. That's okay. When I first got it I was stoked because, you know, you look like you're running super fast with these swooshy lines behind you, and I'm into that. But it gets kind of old because you could see through it with the invisibility, and not only that, but there are other perks that are a little bit better. As soon as you get quick draw, anything especially like shotguns in PvP, if you have the quick draw bonus, it's very, very nice because, you know, you're moving, and just to at least bring it up to hip range to shoot it, you know, you want to be as swift as possible with that because you can turn a corner and enemies there, and if they pull it before you do, you lose. But I usually use Shadowjack, which is the next one, and it increases the duration of invisibility effects. I use pretty much all the invisibility stuff except for in the melee category where I use backstab, and reason being is pretty much because the one-shot kill is just very, very nice. But I do switch between the two. Next section is the Attribute Modifiers, and we have the Way of the Drifter, the Way of the Fearless, and the Way of the Nomad. Way of the Drifter is focused on all attributes, and that's the one I use. I think it's the most well-rounded, and it also gives me a little bit more speed, a little bit more toughness, and like I said about the recovery stuff earlier, it's not really something to worry about. Way of the Fearless is pretty nice. It gives you toughness at all costs, and Way of the Nomad just basically gives you a little bit more battle recovery. So both good options, but like I said, I use the Way of the Drifter. The very final section we're going to talk about is the ability modifiers. First on the list we got Encore, which basically extends your arc blade duration whenever you kill an enemy. It's the one I use for PvE and raids and strikes and all that stuff. If I'm grinding, if I'm trying to get some bounties done, it's really nice to just murder stuff endlessly. Well, not endlessly, but a lot more than you normally would. But Stalker is obviously the one I use, granted all the other invisible abilities that I told you before. The reason I use Stalker is simply because going invisible in any game is probably the most powerful thing you can do. In World of Warcraft I play Rogue, I always play stealth characters, it's just my thing. So if you're a stealth player, it's what you gotta use. And the last one is Hungering Blade, and each kill you get with the Arc Blade or Blink Strike basically gives you health, which is pretty delightful if you need health. But PvP kind of happens at a faster rate. I do think that it's very good if you have the exotic helmet for it, but I really go with Bladedancer most of the time. So as far as the Hunter subclass goes, these are the perks I use. I'm gonna put them up on the screen here for a quick review, and you can kind of check them out and see what you think. And there you have it. That's what I use personally for my Bladedancer Hunter subclass. Now, between the Bladedancer and the Gunslinger, I definitely prefer the Bladedancer because you get to go invisible. So this is my play style. This is how I like to do things. I could be wrong, but I doubt it. If you have any comments or questions, or you think maybe I'm wrong, I'd love to hear about it, and I'd love to hear why. So thank you very much for watching the video. Please feel free to subscribe, like it, share this video to your friends, show it to your mom, whatever you want to do with it, I don't care. I appreciate that you watched it though. I'll see you.